Hell yeah.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another one in our Hammer horror series. As I said to you, we're going to be looking over some of the Hammer horror films that I've barely touched on my channel. So tonight we're looking at my favourite Hammer horror film, which is Frankenstein Created Woman. It's been a while coming to my channel because I just haven't got round to watching it, to be honest with you, because I've been so busy. But we'll have a look at this one today because it's such a great film, and the film is just full of the macabre. It's just full of gore. It's full of beheadings and guillotines and bullying and revenge and a wonderful creation by our Victor Frankenstein, who's played by Peter Cushing. And this one's a bit of a different story for him because he's betrayed a little bit in this one as a good guy rather than like the villainous sort of monster making fiend as we know him has. But in this one he's more, he portrays more of a good sort of thing, in the sense of like the story follows basically around this young couple, a young guy and a girl who he fancies, who's got like a face disfigurement and scarring and stuff like that. She walks with like a sort of like a limp sort of thing, so she's got these sort of like disabilities and things like that. And the young lad is in love with her, and it's sort of based upon these two. The young lad's already traumatized because at the beginning of the film his dad is executed at the guillotine for crimes we are unsure, not told. But that's a great way to start a film, though. Absolutely haunts me. The first time I ever saw this film, and I saw that guillotine at the beginning, it haunted me for years and years and years. And every time I still watch the beginning of the film, I get that sort of shiver. Also, something hanging on my hat there. I still get that shiver when I see it. It's like, ooh, that reminds me right back when this terrified me. And yeah, it's based around this couple, and quite a nice little couple they are too. I mean, the girl sort of works in the sort of the local pub bar again, and her boyfriend is like works with the doctor and the Baron Frankenstein. He sort of like works for them. And we've got all these wonderful characters in the film. We have the Doctor, which is the assistant to the Baron, and the Baron is sort of like they're doing all these sort of like experiments at the beginning of the film where he's trying to freeze his body so he's dead, but it can be regenerated back to life to show that they can freeze bodies. So he's doing all this sort of experimentation at the beginning of the film, and it's quite a cool start to the film. I really enjoyed the start into the film and how we get introduced to the Baron Frankenstein and stuff. And he seems like I say, a bit of a good guy in this one. The villains in this guy are three British tops, I would say. They're sort of bullies. They're with their top hats, and they're just sort of like, they're kind of the local sort of bullies. I think they're from the manor house of the town, so they're well off, established, you know, and they just bully the poor, if you like, and mostly they bully the young girl who works at the bar with the disabilities and the disfigurement. And one day they push themselves a little bit too far, as our hero, her boyfriend, is there, and he fights back on her behalf, and a big brawl sort of opens out in the bar, and the police are called, and it's quite graphic because the young lad gets a knife and he slashes one of the guys on the head, and he's got a big gash coming down here, and the policeman comes and sort of grabs him and says to the barman, "Do you want me to press charges?" But no, because he's defending the girl, and I think the barman is the girl's father, or definitely landlord or uncle or whatever. But and then he asks the three guys, says, "Oh, we want to press charges against him." And the policeman says, well, that will look good, wouldn't it? Because 3 of you against 1. And then they decide they're not going to push charges against him. But then they end up sort of bullying the young girl, who, subsequent to the bullying, dies. She dies. And so all this sort of like stuff happens. So what is Baron Frankenstein going to do with this young girl that's died? Of course, he's going to regenerate her, and she becomes our monster. He transfers the of a beautiful woman onto this and she becomes our sort of monster, and she seeks her revenge on these guys that have bullied her. It's a wonderful, fantastic story. It's such an amazing take on the Frankenstein story. But like I said, he sort of comes across it as more of a good rather than a villain, because this girl died of bullying, and he resurrected her from this, and she then gets her revenge. So what he done was actually to be positive for the girl. And that's what I liked about this film so much, and that's why when I was young it really intrigued me and it grabbed me straight away, just because the story was completely and utterly different than the Frankenstein. Our Frankenstein stories, he builds a monster. The monster is made out of all body parts of that of dead bodies, mostly criminals, and he goes out and commits crimes, the monster. And so everyone pursues Dr. Frankenstein, or Baron Frankenstein, to prevent him from doing it again. But this time round, he's sort of like trying to do a good thing, and it works. It works so well, and Peter Cushing as Frankenstein once again is absolutely superb. And the plot sort of follows all these wonderful characters, and our guy is sort of thinking, he sees his girlfriend in this other woman that's about, almost, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and this young woman seduces these bullies to get them aside one by one, and then kills them brutally ways. Brutal for a Hammer film. So it's just absolutely wonderful. And all these kind of things go on, and it's just like I think, I mean, the Baron is still pursued and stuff as this evil thing, but I still think he was done it. To me, he's more of a good guy in this, but that's just my opinion. I think, yeah, anybody recreating dead bodies is not really a good guy, is he? But it just come across to me in that sort of sense of form, and I loved it. And I love the characters in this film. I just think they're all so cool, and they just all played the role so well. This really needs a Blu-ray release. Why on earth hasn't anybody picked this up onto a Blu-ray? We've had Studio Canal release a number of Hammer films. We've even got Dracula AD 72, which isn't one of the better ones, but we've got all these sort of Hammer films that have been remastered and restoration done onto Blu-ray, and they look wonderful, but no one's touched this. We've had the Curse of Frankenstein, the Evil Frankenstein, we've had all these different, the Horror of Frankenstein, which is not a very good one, but the great one is still only available on DVD. I don't know why. Maybe because it's owned by a different company, maybe, but it's a shame that's not got a proper Blu-ray release here in the UK. The pluses of this edition is that although it's DVD, it still looks quite cool. Yes, it's nowhere near as sort of clear and sharp as these Studio Canal Blu-ray releases that I've been going through, but it still has that. But then again, I still quite like that it still hasn't had that sort of it done to it. But there again, when I watched Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell from Second Sight, that looked absolutely phenomenal. and I just think, oh, this would make my favourite um, Hammer film amazing if someone picked it up, but no one has, and it's such a shame. It really is. Um, the acting is stellar. Peter Cushing is again wonderful as Victor Frankenstein, and he grips the screen, and he's got so much presence and his facial expressions when he's sitting there talking about all these experiments that he's doing, when he's talking about when he, because he dies, he's like frozen in his fridge part at the beginning of the film, and they have to regenerate him with electricity, and he comes back and he acts like normal, like, oh, put the kettle on, dear fellow, let's have a drink, let's have some champagne. He's acting so, and he's just so wonderful and just so, so Peter Cushing, and he's just absolutely amazing. And I just love this film because it's so different from the other sort of Hammer films. Um, yes, it does still have a form of gothic feel to it, but to me, it's more of a folk horror feel to it. It's almost got feels of like Blood of Satan's Claw, in the sense of like a lot of it is shot outside in this field area where the guillotine is, and it has a bit more of a folk horror film feel to it than it does a gothic horror, and I think that's another film that really attracted me to it. Also, I think it's very, very English. But yes, once again, Hammer seemed to have taken us into this generic country, like a European sort of country, but it's so English, with English gentlemen speaking with top hats on and stuff like that. I never, never, never understood any of that. Why Hammer seems to have done that with a lot of their films. They make them like these is all in Europe. I know they're trying to think that, oh, Dracula and that Transylvania and all the original writings were probably from European writers, but it's such an English tale in the way that it's told. Put it, into England, and just like, it would just make it more, I don't know, for me, it would make it more enjoyable. But they had this sort of generic European sort of feel to the film, but with very English acted sort of films. Okay, jolly good fellow, all this sort of thing. And it's so English, it's unbelievable. And that's the only thing that really always throws me off with Hammer films, is that it's like the actual setting of the film. It's like, yes, gothic, no worries, and and just sort of, let's make it in England. They're filmed in England, so let's just say it's in England. But that's what it is. But it's still wonderful and an absolutely amazing story. It's my favourite Hammer film. Yes, I could score it a 10 out of 10 for you, but I've done, like I said, I'm going to try and revert from giving you scores, because I don't want to start put. The reason why I've decided to not put scores on my reviews is just because I think I don't want to, something that's really high scoring to me might be only a 5 to you. So I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mislead. So all I do is just recommend, and I do recommend this film. If you want to get some really classic Hammer films, get your first Dracula, get The Curse of Frankenstein, get Frankenstein created woman, and you're on the right route to the amazing Hammer films. Fantastic film. Guys, thank you very much for coming in. Check out horror channels for me. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzawell, I'm the Ice Lord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. And a massive shout out to my lad. Well, hopefully I'll see you in a week or two's time. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.